Hello, people. What's up? This is William Zonowski. Recording again another vlog. It's been a while since I last did the last vlog. But here I am again to give a little update on what's going on, what happened, what not happened, and basically, I'm waiting for the end of the year. Basically, it's gonna be a very decisive moment in my life. Um, My dad's coming on November 28th. He's arriving in Miami, and that's very good. And also on December 16th, Rachel arrives at Miami too. And man, I just can't wait for her to come here. The more I think about it, the more as times goes by, I feel like I need someone by my side. I need someone to share my life with, and I need someone to take care of me. I was not made to be alone. That's what that's the conclusion I've came to in all this time that I've been alone in America without my parents, and a lot of friends moved out, others got married, and whatever. But so that's basically it. You know, things slow down a little bit as work-wise. Not much to do, and I think the end of the year though is gonna be crazy because there's gonna be some events uh, next weekend and the weekend of Thanksgiving, uh, and then December already. You know, and December, people travel, and I think I have no idea what's gonna happen in December because with my dad here and Rachel here, it's gonna be, I don't know, I'm gonna have to split myself. I'm gonna have to divide myself in two. So so that my dad won't be alone, but I gotta be with Rachel too, because she's coming here, and she's coming with a friend probably. So it's gonna be hard. And my dad wants to work and some gigs here while he's here. He wants to work a little bit, so I don't know how that's gonna work out. I mean, I only have one car, and he's gonna have to go around, and Rachel's gonna have to go around, and I'm gonna have to go around. So I think it's gonna be crazy. Anyways, I know we'll find a way. Somehow things are gonna work out. Because we're Brazilians. Brazilians always work something out. That's like Brazilians' specialty. Make things work out, even though it can be kind of bad, kind of uh, improvise. Even though you gotta improvise most of the times, but we Brazilians are used to that. Uh, let's see what else. At church, we're still praying a lot, and tomorrow, yesterday, I was praying, and it was a battle, because our minds they're like battlefields. And I don't know if you've ever seen in cartoons or something where there's the little angel on one shoulder and then there's the devil in the other. And so the angel is saying something and the devil is saying another stuff. So that's kind of how it is in our minds, though. You got God trying to talk to you. You got uh you got your enemy trying to talk to you, and lying to you and saying stuff that is not true. And you got your own creative mind, trying to come up with some plan or something. So it's crazy. You have like three voices in your head, and you gotta figure out, what is God speaking to you, what is you talking to yourself, and what is the enemy, you know. So that is called discernment. Okay, that's called discernment, and that's something hard to accomplish. That's something hard. That's something that requires a lot of wisdom. A lot of knowledge from the Bible, because what God says to you is always gonna be according to what is in His Word. Like the Bible is kind of like one compass, so we can discern what comes from God and what not. Even though the enemy can use, and sometimes he tries to use the very own Bible to lie to us, and to take us somewhere, like he did with Jesus. When Jesus was tempted, the devil used their own Bible to try to get Jesus to do the wrong thing. And of course, Jesus was smarter than him, and he didn't fall into the trap of the enemy. And when I think about the temptation of Jesus, though, I think that it was not something like Jesus saw, the devil in like black robes and ugly face and horns and stuff. No, because that would be so easy, that would be so easy to see and to fight with. I think that the temptation of Jesus happened all in his mind, in the mind of Jesus. Like he didn't see the devil, manifestator in some kind of form or shape. No, it was all in his mind. That's what I believe. That was all going on in Jesus' mind. Like it's like if Jesus was doubting his own divinity, like doubting that he was the Son of God, but actually it was not that he was doubting, it was the enemy trying to fool him. No, it was the enemy trying to lie to him and make him believe in the lies that the enemy was telling him. So that's kind of a little bit what I've went through yesterday a lot. I mean, because actually we go through that every day. There is a constant battle in our minds. And but yesterday was a little bit, harder, was a little bit more difficult because the enemy was trying to lie to me, and say that there's no point in continuing this life, that I had to give up and just leave it alone and just try to live my life as I want, because God will not do anything that I want. God will not make me happy. I'll never be happy. I'll have to wait all my life and then don't enjoy any of it. Those type of lies. And that is the thing that the enemy tried to lie to us every day. So we gotta stay sharp, and that's why we gotta ask God for wisdom, and that's why we gotta keep in touch with the Bible, with the Word of God, so we can have this a conviction of God's faithfulness and love for us, and it's amazing that what made the difference in this war in my head, what made the difference, the victory factor was the worship. Because when I say, God, even though everything goes wrong, I'm going to worship you and I'm going to praise you and I'm still going to love you and I'm still going to be faithful to you. You know, when I did that, that was the turning point of the battle. That was the turning point where, you know, I beat the enemy. I beat the devil trying to mess with my mind. So it's amazing, how worship can win battles in our mind. And what I learned yesterday was that the deepest and purest form of worship is the one that costs you tears. No, is the one that costs you tears of pain and tears of bitterness, if you can call that. It's that kind of worship that is the purest. When everything goes wrong, or it feels like everything's gonna go wrong and nothing's gonna work out, and you still say, God, I worship and I praise you. That is like a bomb. So that's it. See you next time.